Hi, welcome to the Shaky Chef's first official video. I decided to go ahead and make an intro to this video because I left out a couple things throughout as it goes on. One, when you do any onions, make sure to add some black pepper to it. I left that out. When you add the hamburger, I always put on a little Montreal steak seasoning. I forgot to mention that. Now that you know those couple things that I omitted, please enjoy the video. I'm going to show you how to make my chili. First step is you get a beer. Gotta have it. Once you get your beer settled, get yourself one of these. Show the pot. One of these big giant pots. Now the thing about cooking with a giant pot like this on a stove, you gotta use 2 burners to heat it. Crucial thing, give it quarter turns often and give it a stir. Currently I have in this pot one of these large onions diced up, one whole package of these diced up, and I'll show you how to take these apart. It's really easy later on. Now, I got all that in there with a half a stick of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I always put the onions in first so they can get translucent while you're cutting the peppers. While that's going on, and that's starting to look pretty good because I've taken a little break. It's starting to look good. Here's the next step. You get your sausages out, and I got a considerable amount of sausage here. This is only a half batch, mind you. Look at this much sausage going into this puppy. Cut them up into chunks, about yay. Nice and bite size. That's it for now. We'll be back to you. Alright, now I got all the sausage put in there. Looks something like that. I gave it a good stir, and I plopped in a big pile of hamburger right in the middle. Now I'm going to cover this up and let it cook real slow. But you got to remember to stir the pot a quarter turn every once in a while because it's taking up 2 burners. Because I've learned in the past, if you let it to start to stick, it's going to keep sticking. So don't let it start to stick. I'll be back later. Alright, at this point, this has been cooking and simmering for a while. Meanwhile, I've been turning it a quarter turn and stirring it often so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Very important. At this point, when you see the hamburger is actually pretty well cooked up, no pink on it, it's all broken up nicely. You can see all those peppers are sweating out, spreading all that flavor around. This is when I would normally add some tomato sauce, but unfortunately we don't have any. So what I'm going to do is add a can of crushed tomatoes. Usually I drain them, but since I want the sauce effect, so it's juicy, I'm not going to drain this particular can. I'm going to stir all that up. Make sure she's good and juicy. Then after that, she's done for the day. You turn it on real low and just check it off and then spin it, and you come back tomorrow for the next round. Welcome to day 2 of the chili.
Right.
Important thing. A must. Always take care of this first. Go. Take a little foamy hit here. Alright, today we're going to start off by talking about consistency. I made a mistake yesterday. I was supposed to put in crushed tomatoes.
That's probably better because
I ended up putting in the diced by accident. And diced, you got to drain because they're very, very liquidy. Here's the thing about consistency. If your chili is too wet, it ends up like soup. Nobody likes that. And if it's too dry, it ends up being like paste, and that sucks bad too.
Right.
So here's what I did. I went ahead last night when I was stirring it, and I threw in the can of crushed tomatoes that I meant to throw in, and all that extra moisture that I had, what I did as I was taking my turns stirring it around, every time I stirred the pot, lift the cover right up, move it over the sink, tip it sideways every time, and all that extra moisture will come right out, right off the lid. And after repeating that process, she's right down to a perfect consistency. Always, when you get done with one of these, always rinse it because it saves clean up later. Just a quick hint to make things easy for you.
Yeah.
I went ahead and pre-drained the diced, and I took the extra juice, put it in a container in the fridge in case this happens to get too dry. I can get it liquidy again so it's not too dry. So you cover both bases that way.
Oh, good.
Alright, so we're going to toss in those diced. Then I'm going to toss in the crushed. So now there's 2 of each in there, which is pretty much what this recipe is going to call for the volume.
Okay, good.
Now the tomato paste. This is a neat trick. Tomato paste can be a pain to scoop out. All you do is you pop both sides of the can. Push it a little bit. Take that top part, slide it right off.
What I'll do is I'm gonna go to.
Then you just put your thumb on the bottom part and push that right through.
Boys and Girls Club
Look at that.
to get the chairs.
Comes right out.
And what I'll do is.
And you just grab that.
And then I'll swing by your house.
Scoop it
first.
right off.
You can pick the paper you want for the penguin.
There, tomato paste done. That was quick.
Right there. And
now we're going to stir that up.
And then this way, if she needs some paper.
Get that worked in real good.
I don't know if she's got anything wrappable.
Okay, now that we can do to save camera time. Moving on to the next tip.
We have to assemble it.
Move these off to the side. I was going to show you how to take one of these guys apart real easy. So simple. Just put your thumbs right on the green part. Push it right in. And rip it in half. This little bugger pops right out. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Isn't that simple? All done. Now all you got to do, slice them out. At this phase, I like chunks about that big because it gives it good texture. Now, while we're taking a break, right after this, we're going to be doing the rest of these peppers, dicing up this onion, throwing it in there. And when that's all done, we're going to let it simmer for a while, and then we'll be back. Hey, welcome to day 2, part 2 of chili. You know the routine by now. Alright. Last time we talked, I had put in the rest of the peppers and the second onion, or the rest of the bell peppers I should say. And now we got this up. Get this up to a slow bubble. We slowly heat it up, trying to soften up those peppers that just got in there, and she's bubbling a little bit. Now it's time for the next step. And here's the next step. I already have some of these in there, but I saved some off to the side just to show you how this works. I want to talk about Scovilles. Okay, bell peppers. Scoville is a measurement of heat for peppers. That's how they measure how hot they are. Your average bell pepper has a Scoville rating of 0. There's no heat to them. Okay, this is a jalapeno. Most people throw these right on sandwiches. They're not that hot. But these have an average Scoville rating, depending on how ripe they are, between 2,500 and 8,000. These are probably on the low end because, well, we're kind of off season here. So this is how you take care of these puppies. I usually split them in 4. And then you take out the membrane, which is also known as the pith. You pull that right off, the seeds come right with them. Now while I'm taking the pith off of this, I also wanted to mention that some people have asked me on the bell peppers, do you leave the membrane or the pith in there with all the seeds? Optional on the bell peppers. I like to take them out because I don't care for them. So I usually slice those out. And it's not imperative that you get every seed out, but you don't want a big bunch like that because that's just a little bit too much. Now on the habaneros, they're not so hot, so I just give them a thin slice after they're quartered. And then we can huck these right in there once it's thin sliced. Let's hope I keep my thumb intact here. Now as far as these go, these green guys, I already got 2 of them in there. This will be the 3rd one. I just saved this for show and tell. And you don't have to really get out of control because these aren't that hot. Alright, that should do it. Now you take the pith and the seeds and just kind of huck it in the trash here. Put these right in. Now, like I said, there's already 2 in there. This makes 3. Now this next pepper, red, similar to a jalapeno. It's called a serrano. They claim they're a little bit hotter than a jalapeno, but after tasting them both, I don't really see much of a difference. They claim these are from roughly 8,000 to 22,000 on the Scoville scale, but I'm not believing it for a minute. I could actually just take a bite of that and it wouldn't even faze me. But it does add flavor and color, so we're going to put these puppies right in there. Like I said, I like taking that white stuff out, especially on the hotter peppers, because it tends to get bitter in there. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. Maintaining the fingers. Remember, the Shaky chef. Come on, get in there. Good enough. Alright, get rid of the pith and the seeds. Or the membrane, whichever you want to call it. Like I said, it's not imperative that you get every seed out of there. You just don't want a big pile of seeds, because that's not very attractive. Put that right in there. Okay, now here's where Emerald would say, we're going to kick things up a notch. This is an habanero pepper. This is a little piece of hell in my hands. On the Scoville scale, this ranges from 350,000 to 575,000 Scoville units. I looked it up.
I like the way Shaw says it better. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10.
Alright, so basically what we do is I take off the top and just a little slice off the bottom. Not drop the knife on my foot.
Oh, my foot.
Then I just slice this once, roll it right over and spread it out. And you just take your knife and scrape it. And that shit should come right out of there. Not a big deal. Oops, this one's being feisty. There you go. That one. Now with these particular peppers, they're so damn hot. Alright. Sorry about that brief intermission, but we had a little technical difficulties with the camera. It kind of quit recording on us, but we got it straightened out now. Took a little bit, but we got it. So we're going to pick up right where we were, because it wasn't that long.
Jennifer!
Of course, that was enough to make me require a little beverage here, because that dried my throat out. Alright, where I was at.
Don't give me sad eyes. You do not need any hot peppers.
I was cutting these puppies up. These are the super hot peppers, the habaneros. And I'm going to share a little story with you. You want to be careful with these guys, because they are really hot. What you definitely don't want to do after you're done playing with these guys is touch your eyeballs or any other private part of yourself, because you're going to know it. Granted, there are, oops, I don't want to put that there. Granted, there are hotter peppers out there, but these are pretty hot. And as a side note, the hotter peppers tend to get bitter, so this is probably as hot as I like to go when I'm using a recipe. And because they're so hot, you don't want to slice these up. That's why I got one of these. And the way to do these guys, this is a slap chop. The way you do these guys is you put them flesh side down. so the skin's up, because if the skin's against the board, the blade might not penetrate. But if you do it in this direction, the slap shop will get through them pretty nicely. There we go, see? Now I'm gonna reiterate, these are so hot that you want to really slap chop the crap out of them. You want it really fine minced so it mixes around real well, because you don't want one of your people that's going to be eating it getting a big chunk of that, because they're not going to be happy.
Okay.
Take a peek at that. Yeah, I do believe I'm going to go just a few more slaps there. There we go. See, nice and fine. That'll mix in nicely. Spread around. Get that nice hot heat right in there. Alright, I'm going to scoop this into the bin. Alright. Normally I'd stir that right in. But here's what's after that. Now that's all the peppers that we have. There's no more peppers going in there. The next thing we got is garlic. And what I have here is a whole head of garlic. I know it looks a little bit yellow, but they've been sitting there for a while because I peeled them earlier. But that won't hurt anything. They're just oxidizing a little bit, and it's not like they're rotten. They're going to be quite fine. Sometimes I put this through a garlic press, but this time I just decided to do it this way. Now garlic doesn't have to be so finely chopped. I just kind of go by eye. Yeah, I'll probably live with that. It's not too bad. The garlic won't bite you. Alright, let's take this apart. Scoop this out here. Yeah, that's good now. Slap chop. I'll be rinsing that out right quick, because you don't want to let stuff sitting on a slap chop, because it crusts on there and it's hard to get off. Alright, now we got a whole head of garlic going in there. Alright, right after this segment I'm going to be cleaning up a little bit of dishes I got left, because I always clean as I go. I'm going to stir all this right in. Mix it up real good. And this brings us to the end of day 2. This is going to simmer all night long. I'm going to reduce the heat back down to real low and do the stirring and the churning thing pretty much all night long. And we'll be back tomorrow to do pretty much the finishing touches. And we'll talk to you then. Hey, welcome to day 3 of the chili. Gotta love it. You know the routine. Hear that later. I just snuffed out the cigarette. Alright, before I get going, I'm gonna get my supper in the oven. Having tilapia steaks tonight. Basically what I did with these guys is I rinsed them off, brushed them with some lemon juice, then brushed on some mayonnaise, hit it with some black pepper and some paprika. Boom, it's going to stay in the oven. I use this little thing to brush that stuff on. Handy. And then later on, after this short segment, I'm going to chop up some of these potatoes. Use that nice deep fry. If you don't have one of those, get one. I just changed the oil, so the French fries are going to be awesome. Alright, I digress. Over here. Now last night, one of the things throughout the night. After the hot peppers got cooking down a little bit, I add in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then later on I noticed the habanero peppers were green, and they're usually not as hot when they're green. They're usually at the peak when they're like bright orange. They weren't quite hot enough. So I put in about a teaspoon of this just to bring it back up. It's cayenne pepper. Just to bring it back up to heat. Let me get this out of the way. Alright, this is going to be a short segment. Now we just add the beans. Got some light red kidney beans, drained. Got to drain them. Because you don't want to dilute all that flavor you're fighting to get all mixed in, layered flavors over the past couple days. You don't want to dilute that. You want to keep that intact. So we got some light red kidney beans, dark red kidney beans, drained. A little more dark red kidney beans. I got an extra can of these should I need to put it in, but I didn't open it in case I don't need it. Now we have some cannellini. Kind of like kidney bean, but white. And the reason why I put these in there, it adds color and a little, just a slight different flavor, not too much. And some garbanzo beans, better known as chickpeas. Them in there. And this I do not drain. This is the only one I don't drain. Bush's Original Baked Beans. And I leave the salt pork right in there, because whoever gets that I think is going to be the lottery winner, because that's good stuff. There. These. There. This. There, now that all that's in there, just stir in all the ingredients, get it all mixed in there. And this, my friends, is pretty much the end of it. You just keep mixing this in, and this is going to be ready tomorrow afternoon. Well, it'll be ready tonight, actually, once it all gets warmed up. But this is what it is after 3 days messing around. Look at that, thick and hearty. I'm probably not even going to need that extra tomato juice that I saved off to the side, because it's just about the way I like it. Nice and thick.
Kidney beans. To the side.
There, nice and thick. That's what you want. Now from here on out, oh wait a minute, almost forgot. Once you put the beans in, almost forgot, magic ingredient. With heat, you want sweet, because hot and sweet go together like that. So I'm going to take some molasses and just drizzle some around. And a little bit more. And there it is. Now that, my friends, is going to be good. Now from here on out, you just stir it. And if throughout the night you notice that you want it a little bit hotter, you can add a little more cayenne pepper. If you want a little bit cooler, add a little more molasses. It'll calm it right down. And that, my friends, is the end of the Shaky Chef's first presentation. Hope you enjoy the chili. Thank you for watching the video. If anybody would like a text document stating all the ingredients and step-by-step instructions in text form, email me right there, and I'll be happy to return the text file to you. Just mention chili, please, in the header. Thank you very much for watching the video.